making our sexuality dirty or bad, or, you know, and I think people who are really connected to their sex and their pleasure are really free people who think for themselves, people who like source their pleasure within, feel that connected to their bodies. I mean, that's like a level of freedom that maybe is scary to like larger institutions. I don't know, you know, but and who knows if that was like meant to constrict our pleasure, or if it was, who knows, I don't know if it was a conspiracy theory or if it was an accident, but I think that it's just been, thousands of years of conditioning and being told that we're like bad and wrong and dirty and pleasure's inappropriate in different forms.
Well, if, like you say, pleasure is the portal to power, and you can literally manifest so many amazing things when you're walking around with this orgasmic, free, pleasured energy. Of course, they're going to want to shut it down. Yeah, because there's going to be so many empowered people walking around the world. I completely resonate with all of that, and especially being English. Oh yeah, I mean, self pleasure is just like a no. Oh my gosh, and
it's really like so much of our magic as women is connection to our body and our sex. Is like we are literally like just magic shooting out of our fingers when we're really like turned on that way.
And I think once I really associated power with pleasure, I was all in. I was like, okay, for me to progress in my business and my life, I have to be having orgasms and give myself this time. And because I understood why, it had so much more resonance for me, because it was like, of course, it's freedom. And, you know, when I started my journey 8 years ago, I was looking for financial freedom. And then when I created that, I was like, oh, well, there's something still that I'm not free in. And it was the freedom to express, the freedom to express myself sexually. And I was like, wow, I'm totally not free in that area. So how can I possibly be free? So I think a lot of people looking for freedom, again, in the outside, when actually freedom comes from within. It's the work of being able to tap into all this. And
and I think you said it so well, and it just made me have this like download also of it's such a part of like the base of who we are. I mean, really, we all come from sex, and also like our bottom two chakras are like rooted in our sex, and so when those are off alignment, everything else is too, like our power and our heart and our voice and even like our creativity. And so it's so much bigger than just our sex. It's just such an integral part of who we are that when we put focus there, everything else transforms.
Wow. So this is your permission, ladies, to go and have an orgasm.
Go have an orgasm.
Your eyes just completely light up when I talk about sex. It's just like, you just love it. It's great. So normalizing pleasure. How can we start to normalize it with, I suppose, without walking around, just masturbating in public? That's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, how can we normalize this so people can start to feel, I have permission to be and show up?
Well, I think even listening to something like this, it shifts the collective, and it's just. It's like, it's just a being thing. And as more people like shift into this, like healing their shame and getting in touch with their pleasure and like this whole world of things, it just shifts the collective. You know, like when you're in the permission field of another woman who's like turned on and right with her sex, it totally like transfers, you know?
Yeah.
So it is just such an internal game that changes the world. We're all so connected. That really our transformation on our own, whether you're in contact with someone or you're next to someone or you don't even know people, like it literally shifts the collective consciousness.
And I suppose it doesn't even need to be something that you say. It's just by showing up, people can feel that you're connected to yourself and your body, and if you feel yourself kind of shying away or not fully stepping into yourself, then people can feel that as well. And so you're going to become more of a magnet when you embrace all parts of you. I can definitely know when someone walks into a room and they are so tapped and tuned into their sexuality. I'm like, oh my God, that girl's got it going on. I'm just looking at your shelf now and I can see about 12 sex toys. Butt plugs, and it's just like, how all of these crystal wands and yoni eggs and dildos and things on display for people to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, even 3 years ago, I was like, a yoni egg? What is that? I had no idea what a yoni egg was. And then when my friend told me, I was like, you put what up where? What the heck does that even do?
Uh-huh.
And so even for me, like 3 years ago, the concept of a yoni egg was like shameful and oh my God, like what is this weird thing? Like, where's this come from? And then again, educating myself on my yoni, on my womb, like so much stuff to be healed. And a lot of women have so much trauma in their wombs, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of impact does that have on people's lives?
Yeah, I mean, our womb is like our center of creativity. It's actually like literally a portal to another universe.
Yeah.
It's like a portal to Earth. It's like really like a baby who's come through, and this is like creative. This is literally the root of creativity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've heard that disconnection from our womb, or even, you know, like not having, like having unhealed shame or anything around there, it can like block our money, block our creativity, definitely block our sex. Also block, like just when we're down like in this area, it's like also our gut, which is like our intuition, and I think our womb is so much of like our intuition as well.
Yeah.
So it could be like the type of partners you're even attracting, the relationships that you're in.
Yeah, big one. If I look at a lot of the relationships that I've been in, I'm like, yeah, that's because there's a lot of trauma that I hadn't healed, a lot of sexual trauma, a lot of self-acceptance that I needed to go through and have. And I'm so excited now I'm doing all this work to see who my next partner will be from this place of like wholeness and completeness, and not needing someone but wanting them because I feel whole and complete as I am.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see who that amazing being is too. So fun.
He's on his way.
I know.
Oh my God. Okay, so like, have you got a vision for the world and how you see it in 5 or 10 years time with the work that you're doing? Because you are so tapped in, tuned in, turned on a mission to empower millions of women around the world to own their pleasure and sex. And like, how do you see the world being in a few years?
That is such a good question, Kim. I think, yeah, I recently had this download. I have a group program going on right now. It's called Pleasure Witch, and it's so fun. I mean, the women who are in it are freaking magical, and I just get so lit up by it. And we did a self-pleasure call the other morning, and I taught something specifically. It's called edging or peaking, either one, and it's basically like a self clit stroking practice where you like bring your sensation in your body up to like, you know, an 8 or 9 on the scale of like 10, you know, like not orgasming, but then bringing it back down with like specific types of touch. So anyways, I mean, one of the women's share afterwards was just about like this amazing connection with her clit that she's never felt before, and that she realized that she like hasn't been that connected to her clit, like not even really knowing like where it was in her body or like how to tap into it or how to touch it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like on a mission to have every woman like know where her clit is and like love her clit and find pleasure like in her pussy. And so I think something along those lines. I was thinking of Gina's even like on a mission to have 1 million women like experience self-love or whatever her like specific phrase is. I'm like, wow, on a mission to have 1 million women like fall in love with their clit.
Wow.
I don't know if that's it, but yeah, I think it's just like on a bigger vision, probably just like having women like deeply connected to their magic, their pleasure, their pussy, their femininity.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of things. I've not fully honed in on that vision yet. So thank you for the question. I'm like, yeah, good question.
I love that when you said deeply connected to their magic. Wow. Yeah, and sex isn't just something you have when you want to have a baby. It's like every day this incredible opportunity we have to co-create magic and manifestations. Can you tell us a bit about orgasms and sex magic? Because that really sold a lot to me when I found out that I can manifest more.
You're like, power manifestation. Okay, got it. I'm in. Yeah, I mean, well, we're just in such a high vibration when we're having amazing, like when we're really in our pleasure, having amazing sex or self-pleasuring, because it's like meditation. It's a similar kind of like presence. But then when you add pleasure in, it's like you're just vibrating on a super high level. So when you're vibrating on that level, you're also calling in things that are also vibrating on that level, like whatever it is you might want, but like abundance and an incredible partner, or business ideas. And so it's really powerful when you're self pleasuring or when you're having sex, if it feels good to you, to think about the things that you're manifesting, and to actually like imagine. You can like imagine the energy like coming up from your like root chakra, coming up your body, and like lighting up like your third eye, and like coming out your crown, and like shooting out your manifestations into the universe. It's so fun.
Oh.
And yeah, go ahead and try it. That's how you can begin your self-pleasure journey if you're listening and you want to dive in. But yeah, and just see what happens. See what happens when you combine your pleasure with your manifestation. It's so powerful. Yeah.
But even pleasure doesn't need to be sex either, can it?
Yeah, no.
When I've been on this journey of, expanding my pleasure, it's also been in like walking around Bali and just being so receptive of the nature and flowers, and pleasure can come in lots of different ways, can't it? Like, how can people start to maybe incorporate more pleasure on the, without kind of the sexual?
Yeah. Well, I think it's...
Are you straight for the clit?
You can go straight for the clit. You can do that, whatever. Only straight for the clit. No. Well, I think it is that, like, noticing things that you find beautiful in your life. Like, it could be like noticing a butterfly, noticing a gorgeous flower, just being more present, going for a walk on the beach or like in nature, I think really puts me in my pleasure. But it's really asking yourself, like, what brings you pleasure in your life? Like, what are the moments when time kind of stops and you're just like so in love with what you're doing, or so in love with the people that you're with? So I would say, like, make a list of the things that bring you the most pleasure, and then incorporate those into your life more often, like daily.
Yeah. Even things like, after the shower, just putting body lotion on my body, taking time to just have gentle strokes on my arms, and like looking at myself in the mirror and just like giving myself some love, like just pleasure every day and every moment.
Totally. Yeah. I think of it often when I'm on my scooter, because, there's like, I'm just on my way somewhere, there's nothing else to do. And I love tuning into my pleasure just by feeling the sensation of the wind, like on my skin. It's so pleasurable. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I think so many times, like in the past, the pleasure's just been in sex that's just been like really like numb, and there's not been any intimacy because I've not had that connection to myself. And so finding pleasure in wind blowing on my skin was something I was not even tapped into, because I thought it had to come from something that's more abrasive or hard. Like I wasn't tuned to the subtleties of life. And I think that was so true in all elements of my life. I wasn't looking for the small beautiful manifestations that were already there. I was looking for these big results that required lots of effort. And that was then reflected in my sex life as well. So like now I'm tapped into the intimacy of life.
So,
is like the smells and the air, and like going for walks on the beaches, like you said. Like really noticing the beauty of life is helped me to, in sex, also notice the subtleties of sex. Because sex isn't just genital penetration and that's it, which I kind of thought it was for so long. It's intimacy, it's gentle strokes, it's sometimes not even having sex, taking the penetration off the table, and just being in that energetic feeling.
Yeah, I love how you said that so much. And I think it is really like pleasure is always available. Like, you actually don't need to go anywhere or do anything, and you can. But also, it's literally always there. When we actually just tune in, like bring attention to our bodies, I think there's so much pleasure in like taking deep breaths, or even like drinking water, or even like when I'm sad, just letting myself feel fully sad, like feeling into the sensation of my sadness. It's not even about like chasing the good feelings, because those are great too, but it's even in just like every moment when we're really present and dropped in. There's just it is just super pleasurable. Even, yeah, just like super, so like touching anything, if you're really tuned in, it's almost like when you're like on psychedelics and you're like, whoa, that tree is so beautiful, like I can't even handle, oh my god, my skin, like it just feels, if you've ever had an experience like that where it's just like mind-blowing, it's like, I think that it psychedelics just kind of takes away like our normal automatic ways of thinking and like ignoring all the amazing parts of life, and so then we're just super present and focused on it. So it's like that's all always available. Like sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm on acid because I'm just like, whoa, look at the way that tree blows in the wind, like wow, look at that butterfly, oh my god, it feels so good to touch my skin. It's like the art of just getting super present.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, not just trying to numb life through alcohol or, you know, external things. And that word numb, I think, was such a big word that could describe most of my life, just completely numb to most things. And then once I tapped into my body and my energy, it was like, wow, I could feel everything. And I used to think that emotions were bad and I used to suppress them. But now what I'm realizing is you can only experience a level of joy is the level of grief you're willing to also feel. It's a polarity.